Hi students, I'm Sonia from Vidya Guru, starting a new session on Union Budget today. So it is basically the part of current affairs module only. As you know that the questions which are going to be there in your exam, whichever exam you are writing, you will see the questions from this particular session because Union Budget is such, it's not for banking students only, like those who are preparing for only banking exams. We are referring to all the kids who are preparing for any competitive exam like SSC, like bank, like CDS, like Kendriya Vidyalaya, whichever exam you will see, whichever exam you will write, you will see these questions in that exam. So remain focused throughout. As you guys can make out, this session will remain in English medium throughout. We record such sort of complete English medium sessions for our students who are in South India, who are in Northeast India, primarily for them. If others are able to understand, you can keep watching the session. I am referring to those students specifically who are in Telangana, who are in Tamil Nadu, who are in Kerala, who are in Andhra Pradesh, or maybe Assam or Manipur, who are unable to understand the language Hindi. We record such sort of complete English medium sessions for them. Let's see what is happening here. See, the date is like around, when I'm recording this particular session, because it has been delayed a little because I was, unwell. You have to consider this session as the first part for the February only, and there'll be 3 sessions which we are going to upload this time for the month of February. So you have to watch and I'll try to upload them one by one. Now, when I start the session, you will see questions in your exam for sure. Stay put and watch the session because it is going to be a little lengthy sort of session. If there's a possibility that my accent would be the concern, you can start subtitles for the video, and that option is there in YouTube. And let's start from here on. As you can see that I've actually put them under certain categories like facts and figures. What budget is, when you refer to any kind of budget, keep that in mind always. The budget of your home, at times the income is less and your mother, your father, they spend more. That means some kind of deficit, some kind of loss is being recorded. Is it? Is it not? I'm saying budget of your home. When your parents, as you guys are, kids till now, I know most of the parents, do spend money in the homes. So when they make the budget, they have, some income and they have to spend on your education, on the food, on the clothes. So that kind of budget we are referring to. Country's budget is almost similar to that only. Government receives money from some sources, and that's how when they gain money, when they get money, they are in a position to spend at places. They spend money on railways, they spend money on the defense of the country, they spend money on many other things. They provide you subsidies also, they provide you pensions also. How do they get the money? Through taxes, multiple kind of taxes which they impose. I'm saying like it can be income tax, it can be corporate tax, it can be GST, it can be customs, it can be something like that. So budget is like that. Please understand that. Remain careful throughout. Although this sort of conversation is quite usual, you hear it from people. Here I'm saying that, when you refer to budget of union, like of the entire country, when your parents earn well, they are able to spend, they are able to save. But the problem is at times in certain households, what happens is they earn some amount, but when they, end up spending, they see that some kind of loss is there. To just cover that loss, they borrow. Your parents borrow money from some sources, or they are able to, they actually spend money from their savings also. Like income is less and the expense that they are making is more than or is greater than the income. So that kind of loss is called deficit in the language of union budget. So when you refer to any kind of deficit, deficit means loss. So from here, on this particular note, I begin the session. Here you can see the title is Facts and Figures. I always start, whenever I get to, present union budget, I always start from, GDP. GDP, it is basically the rate at which the country is growing. It says the GDP, gross domestic product, we are saying that projection for the upcoming year and the past year, although multiple revisions do take place. Keep that in mind. GDP that we are referring to here is 6.4% for the last, or for the just like the year that passed, the one 24-25, for that 6.4%. See, I expect GDP to grow every year, right? So for the next year, you can see it is going to be from the range 6.3 to 6.8%. That is what government says. I'll repeat, for the past year, GDP growth was 6.4%. 6.3 to 6.8% is the target for the current financial year, 25-26. In Union Budget, we refer to everything from the perspective of financial year. Please understand that everything is financial year. When you refer to 24, 25, 25, 26, something like that, it is all financial year. That is why it is not 1 year. It is not 2025 only. It is not 2026 only. Merger of 2 years tell you that it is the financial year cycle that they refer to, the financial year cycle. That is what they are referring to. So for 25-26, GDP is going to be 6.3 to 6.8%. That's the projection by the government itself. When you move ahead, I told you deficit is a kind of loss. Deficit is a kind of loss that government bears in some or the other way. When income is less, when the government spends more, you see deficits are always there. In every government, there's nothing new about it. But we always aim at reducing the deficit, isn't it? Whenever we refer to deficit, consider yourself part of the government, right? Consider yourself government only. What will be your aspiration when you deal with any kind of deficit, be it fiscal deficit, be it primary deficit, be it revenue deficit? I'll make a separate video where I'll be explaining these terms well. Here I'm just giving you an overview of the things where I say fiscal deficit for this particular year, like 24-25, the year past was 4.8%. Now my mind, my brain's hints that I need to consider something else, and that is going to be obvious. For the last year, as it was 4.8%, for the next year, I have to aim at reducing fiscal deficit. Any kind of deficit should be reduced. So we are targeting for the next financial year 4.4%. The current one after this, next means after this particular year, we are aiming at reducing the fiscal deficit to 4.4%. Let me repeat, GDP for the past 6.4%. For the year which is going on, 6.3 to 6.8, that's between 6.3 and 6.8, that is what we are targeting at. Now the next one is fiscal deficit, the data of that, 4.8% for the past year, and for the current one, 4.4%, that is what we are aiming at. The next one is fiscal deficit. It actually tells you what fiscal deficit is. Just this line, read it, you will have a fair idea. It says, fiscal deficit means total borrowing requirements of the government. Deficit means loss, that I told you. But that was just the overview. The right way of saying it is that fiscal deficit reflects total borrowing requirement of the government. Whatever money government requires to cover up the losses, to meet the requirement, total borrowings of the government, it's fiscal deficit, right? Borrowing requirement. When you move ahead, if you wish to see the way how it is calculated, although it used to be asked, nowadays they don't ask, for your information only, fiscal deficit is revenue receipts. Receipts means receiving. When you receive money from some source, revenue receipts, you are supposed to add non-debt capital receipts in that particular thing. Non-debt capital receipts, here also kind of receiving is going on. So, when you add receipts of two types, revenue and non-debt capital receipts, and just deduct total expenditure out of it, you get fiscal deficit straight away. That's basically the formula. That's how we calculate, that's how we check what fiscal deficit, and it comes out like that only. Now, let's repeat. I said GDP growth 6.4% for 24-25. For 25-26, obviously we'll be, obviously aiming at something better. 6.3 to 6.8%, that's the target for the government. Fiscal deficit 4.8 for the past one, 4.4% for the current one. What is fiscal deficit? It reflects total borrowing requirements of the government, right? The next page says, Did I tell you, when you talk about revenue deficit or maybe primary deficit, any kind of deficit only and only indicates the kind of loss, some kind of loss. So here also I'm going to explain one by one. I was saying revenue deficit for the past year 1.9%, and for the current one, obviously the next to this particular year, the next financial year 25-26, we aim at 1.5%, right? Because we want reduced deficit, right? Primary deficit for the last one is 1.3%. For the next year, obviously I'll be targeting at something lower than that. So value is 0.8%. For the past one, it went 1.3%. 0.8% is the target for the next financial year. That means the one which is going on. How is primary deficit calculated? Primary deficit is calculated when fiscal deficit, the one in the past page that I've told you, total borrowing requirements of the government is fiscal deficit, out of which you have to reduce, you have to deduct interest payments. As soon as you deduct the interest payments that government pays, so that interest payments, after deducting it from fiscal deficit, you get primary deficit straight away. When you move ahead, revenue deficit. Revenue deficit is easier, way easier. Why? Because here we are mentioning only revenue only. So it's like revenue deficit, revenue receipts minus revenue expenditure straight away. That's how you get it. But still I'll be, stressing, I'll be focusing on one particular thing, the data, and not these things. I can make a video, a separate kind of video, which will, explain all these terms. If you want such a video, you can, mention that in the comment box. If you don't want that, if you don't write it, I won't make that, because I really believe that you already know the meanings. But still, if you feel like, I'll make the video on these terms also. I'll repeat, I said facts and figures. That was the title in which I was actually giving you the numbers, the data straight away, which is going to be there in your exam. You need not listen to the stories. You know what people generally do? They at times they show, but they don't segregate. Here, when I move ahead, I'll actually be showing you the pillars, like on which the engines, on which the government feels the entire budget should be distributed in 4 ways. So I'll be mentioning, that kind of process as well. I have basically segregated it well. So I feel these pointers straight away. Instead of narrating a story, I'm giving you the pointers straight away, which are going to be there in your exam for sure. Have faith in me. Watch the video till the end. Even if you don't like it, if you see 3 or 4 questions in your exam which you are writing, so you should study. You should, watch this video. I'll repeat. Revenue deficit is 1.9% for the past year. For the next one, 1.5%. That is what we are aiming at. Primary deficit is 1.3%. Primary deficit for the current financial year, fiscal year, is 0.8%. Although the picture states the same thing, but you will not be able to find out here. It's quite, you can say obscure. You will not be able to find it out, but still I'll highlight that for you. Fiscal deficit 4.4% for the current financial year. 0.8% is the revenue deficit here. So I've mentioned certain things like you have to be observant of, these particular things. Primary deficit, I was mentioning that. Let's move ahead so that we can see. See, although I told you at the start, the video is going to be a little longer than usual. You have to spend more time with me. You have to watch this boring video throughout. But please understand something. Here some allocations are there. They straight away can ask you the names of the schemes where the government has allocated money, or how much money has been allocated to which scheme, such kind of questions. What's basically the percentage of amount that government is receiving money, like as corporate tax, or maybe in what percentage of the entire, consider it a chapati, a roti, 100%, a circle, 100%. So when we start distributing, like 4% to pension, some percent to subsidies, that is how government spends, but government earns also. So in that roti, there'll be some distribution. You'll be able to see that how much money government spends on what all places. So that will also be shown to you in a while. Here you can see that I've divided the entire video in multiple phases. 4 pillars are there. 4 engines are there as per the government. Government is talking about agriculture, government is talking about MSMEs, government is talking about investments, government is talking about exports. It was not merely a data sort of or allocation sort of budget this time, more of the announcement kind of budget, was there. So on the basis of that, announcement, I have segregated all the engines and under which I've written the relevant points as well. So I believe that you're learning all of it, and if you are not, please do that. Please do that. Agriculture is the first engine of development. Development is Vikas in Hindi, and we talk a lot about Vikas in our country these days. So first engine of development, agriculture. Let's start. It is basically PM Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. If you are not able to understand Hindi well, I'm so sorry, these schemes are announced like that only. I can only pronounce them time and again, like I'll be doing it often so that you can understand it better. PM Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. That's basically developing agricultural districts program, agricultural district program to cover 100 districts. So what is this scheme about? It is about the development of the districts and on how many districts it is going to work on. 100 districts will be the ones. See, 100 smart cities. The development had to take place there also. So that kind of development. No, we are not referring to that kind of development. We are just saying that government is saying something. So you have to believe. Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. Districts are there. 100 districts will be there. Agricultural district program it is basically where the development of agricultural districts. It is basically, okay, let me, rephrase it. I was saying PM Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. Is it about fair price or MSP which should be provided to all the farmers for which they protest always? So I'm saying here, developing agricultural district program, that it is where 100 districts will be developed. That is what I meant. Now 6 years mission for Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbharta in Bharat, it is for pulses. Pulses, dal in Hindi, we are referring to pulses, dal or lentils we are talking about. So pulses, Atmanirbharta, 6-year mission. In 6 years time, you may have heard Nirmala Sitharaman saying tur dal and all. So we'll be, independent in terms of pulses production. That is what they mean. They can ask you certain questions like these: 6-year mission of Atmanirbharta in which particular sector or in the development of what kind of produce. So pulses. And 5-year cotton productivity, cotton produce, right? Let me rephrase it for you. 5 years mission for cotton productivity. That is what they are doing here as well. Makhana that you eat, dry fruit, foxnut. So I'm referring to that makhana only. They are working on the production of makhana also. They are saying we'll do better there too. So makhana board to be set up in Bihar. In this video, you will see many announcements on, for Bihar specifically. So what can be done? So it's good for Bihar. Anyway, Makhana board to be set up in Bihar. Urea plant in Namrup, Assam. There's a question further in which I'll be talking about this question in detail, because for Bihar something was done. For Assam also, very little was done for Assam also. But anyway, something was done. Urea plant will be established in Namrup, Assam. That is what I was saying. Enhanced credit through Kisan Credit Card. Everything is about loan. Must be thinking why speaking like that. See, I'll tell you what happens is, whenever government plans to do something for the people, it is done in many ways. But here when you see, they'll be giving you more of loans. Like to street vendors, loans will be provided. For Kisan farmers, loans will be provided. For everybody, like for MSMEs, loans will be provided. So government is giving you the money, but in the form of loans. But anyway, they cannot give you free of charge, I understand that. So enhanced credit through, that means loan through. They are giving you loans, not to you, basically to the farmers, to the peasants. So Kisan Credit Card, in which the loan limit has been increased to 5 lakh. That is what you had to understand. And modified interest subvention scheme, is there, and they are saying the money has been hiked. They can actually provide you more loan. 5 lakh you can receive through Kisan credit card. Let me repeat all that for you. Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana is there. It is for the development of agricultural districts, and 100 districts will be covered under this particular scheme. 6-year mission for Atmanirbharta and pulses. 5-year mission for cotton produce. Makhana board in Bihar. Urea plant in Assam, Namrup. And through Kisan credit card. But important part is modified interest subvention scheme. So under this particular thing, the Kisan credit card scheme will give you 5 lakhs loan, up to 5 lakhs loan, right? Now the second engine of development is basically MSME. So MSME is micro, small, medium enterprises. So I hope you already know that. So micro, small, medium enterprises is basically the second engine of development for the government, where the government says that in MSME, micro, small, medium enterprises, right? National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management to come up in Bihar. I told you at the start that in Bihar, there will be many things which will take place. So here I'm saying that National Institute for Food Technology, for Entrepreneurship and Management to be set up in Bihar, right? Customized credit cards with limit of 5 lakh will be given to micro enterprises, but they have to register themselves on Udyam portal, right? Let me repeat that. Here I'm not talking about small, medium enterprises. I am talking about only micro enterprises. Here I'm saying these micro. See, small and medium enterprises are actually quite big for all of us. Here we are referring to quite micro. So micro kind of enterprises are there. They'll get the loan of 5 lakh. Kisan will also get a loan of up to 5 lakh. Here they have to register themselves. There they'll be getting the loan through Kisan credit card. Here they'll be getting the loan through Udyam portal. They have to register themselves on government's Udyam portal. Focused product scheme is for footwear. Focused product scheme is for footwear. Focused product scheme is for footwear and leather. That's how government says they'll be able to generate 22 lakh jobs. 22 lakh jobs, you can see that. And they are saying we can also generate 4 lakh crore as the revenue also. That is what they have said. You have to believe that too. So focus product scheme is for footwear and leather. Let's move on. Fund of funds is for startups and they'll give you 10,000 crores. As in they are spending 10,000 crores on that. So obviously they'll be providing funds to the people who are willing to start their own startups. Funds of funds for startups, 10,000 crore, government is going to spend on that. 5 lakh women, SC/ST, we are referring to those women. First time entrepreneurs, they are actually becoming entrepreneurs for the very first time. SC/ST women, they'll be getting the loan. And to get term loans. See, I have to tell you something. When I mention that government is spending that much and how much a person, how much a woman can get as loan, certain limits, certain amounts are quite important. You have to focus on that. Let me repeat. National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management will be set up in Bihar, right? Next one is customized credit card with the limit of 5 lakh. Micro enterprises will get this loan. And for that they have to register on Udyam portal. Focus product scheme on footwear, focus product scheme on leather, it is going to generate 22 lakh jobs. And the revenue it will generate 4 lakh crore. That is what government says. Fund of funds for startups, 10,000 crores. That's the budget. Government is going to spend this much to give you loans. 5 lakh women, SC/ST, first time entrepreneurs to get term loans up to 2 crores. So they'll be getting term loans, right? Up to 2 crores. Now let's talk about the third engine. Third engine is investment, and at the start I told you there are 4. One was agriculture, the second one is investment, and the third one is, the second one was MSME, the third one is investment, and there's fourth one, exports. So we'll be talking about that also alongside. Let's start. So for the investment thing, third engine of development is investment. Let's start. Rupee 1 lakh crore to implement the proposals for cities as growth hubs. Allocation of 10,000 crores for 25-26 under Urban Challenge Fund. Now there's a catch here. Read that carefully. When we are referring to Urban Challenge Fund, that means are we referring to that urban part of, urban part will be developed? Yes. Sanitation they'll be working on. Yes. Water they'll be working on. Infrastructure they'll be working on. It is Urban Challenge Fund. Now, what is important out here? So, Urban Challenge Fund, where the government is planning to spend 1 lakh crore. Yes, they are planning to do so, but that's the total budget they are talking about. Year by year, they have to spend some less amount. They are just planning that, we'll be spending this much of amount. You can say anything. Now, for this particular year, like the current one, which is going on right now, we're talking about that fiscal year, they'll be spending just 10,000 crore. Read that carefully. If you don't read it, you'll miss certain details which are very important from the perspective of your exam. Keep looking at it. Not me, but the pointer. Look at it. Urban Challenge Fund has been established. No, they're planning to establish. So they're saying 1 lakh crore is the total budget. We'll be spending on urbanization. We'll be spending on the development of cities. So that is why cities as the growth hub. That's the purpose of the government. That is what they wish to do. But for current financial year, the allocation is of 10,000 crores. Just 10,000 crores out of this particular amount. 50,000 labs will be opened. What kind of labs are we referring to? We're talking about Atal Tinkering Labs, right? See, people require skill. When they get into the job markets, they don't get the job. So they are planning to do something like that. So Atal Tinkering Labs will be opened in all government schools. That is what government is planning. But how many? 50,000. That is what the number is important. Read it. A scheme to provide UPI linked credit. Credit is loan again. Through UPI, you will be getting it. It is going to be a UPI linked credit card which will be given to street vendors. How come street vendors come into the picture? Here. This is street vendor. Nidhi is Nidhi. It's not a girl. It's not a name of a girl basically. Nidhi means money. That means we are referring to money basically. So street vendors, Nidhi. So PM, Pradhan Mantri. This is basically street vendors, Nidhi. That means we are talking about street vendors are going to get loan up to 30,000 rupees. So up to 30,000 rupees. But how they are going to get it? Through UPI linked credit cards. Kisan credit card up to 5 lakh. If you register yourself on Udyam portal, up to 5 lakh micro enterprises will get the loan. Here we are talking about that PM Swanidhi scheme is there for street vendors. Here street vendors are going to get the loan, but there's a catch. You have to basically get it through UPI linked credit card only, and up to 30,000 street vendors can actually get the loan. Internet for all government secondary schools and primary health care centers, but in villages basically. So they'll get, internet connection through or under BharatNet project. So under BharatNet project, primary health centers and government secondary schools in village areas, they'll get net connectivity. For gig workers, I understand that who gig workers are. They don't have any security. When you see the people who are working in Zomato, Swiggy, what happens is these gig workers they don't have any security, any kind of security, social security or anything, you can say that. So government is actually trying to help them. For gig workers, government is basically issuing kind of iCards and they have to register themselves on eShram portal. They'll be given healthcare benefits. They'll be given healthcare benefits and other benefits also when they have these iCards. For that, they have to register, PM Jan Arogya Yojana. Under PM Jan Arogya Yojana, they'll be getting it. As you know, Arogya word is there. We're talking about healthcare benefits. So gig workers will be given iCards. They have to register themselves on eShram portal. Healthcare benefits will be given to them, but under which scheme? These schemes are important. PM Jan Arogya scheme is that scheme under which they'll be getting such benefits, right? Let's start the revision. I said, third engine of development is investment. Government is saying 1 lakh crore will be invested to make cities better. So Urban Challenge Fund will be established for the same. 10,000 crores for is basically this year's allocation. 50,000 Atal Tinkering Labs will be opened. Scheme to provide UPI linked credit card loan to street vendors up to 30,000 crores under PM Swanidhi Yojana or scheme. Internet for all government secondary schools and primary healthcare centers in village, BharatNet project. For gig workers, iCards will be issued. They have to register themselves on eShram portal under Jan Arogya Yojana of PM. They'll be getting healthcare benefits. Let's move on. If you are getting what I'm teaching, please press the like button for sure, because I put in a lot of efforts to bring such kind of videos. I don't narrate stories at all. You know that. I get only and only relevant points which can be there in your exam, and they are asked. I know that. You already know that. If you wish to study from us, we deliver lectures in complete English medium also. We have, batches in Hindi medium also. So either of the classes can be joined. The numbers are given below. You can dial these numbers and speak with the executives, or you can go to our website straight away, online.vidyaguru.in. That's the website, online.vidyaguru.in, where you can go and purchase a course of your choice. We'll try to help you in all possible manners. We'll help you to get a job somewhere, to get settled. You get settled. That's the sole purpose all teachers have. So English medium or Hindi medium, that you have to choose carefully while making, while choosing the course for yourself from the portal. Anyway, let's start. Let's continue with the third, engine of development, and it is investment. So we are starting with next point. It is in line with nuclear energy mission. Target is 100 gigawatt. That is what they are willing to produce by 2047. R&D budget is there for the generation of small modular reactors. You will see them as written SMRs everywhere. So they say SMRs have to be generated like in next in next few years. They'll be giving 5 to the government. They'll be spending a lot of money on that. So you'll see such kind of information. But just listen to it carefully. What I'm saying, small modular reactors. Here we are talking about nuclear energy. We are going to develop small modular reactors. We are planning to do so ourselves. And 20,000 crore is the budget they'll be spending on the R&D of this particular thing for the generation of small modular reactors. So the budget and the amount is important. What they are generating is also important. Center of Excellence in AI. India talks a lot about artificial intelligence these days. You have seen that. So artificial intelligence for education, 500 crores will be spent on that particular thing. A new greenfield airport, one. Second one is Western Koshi Canal ERM project will be developed in Bihar. That is what the aim is. And I told you at the start when I was starting that for Bihar, many announcements were made. For Bihar, it is Greenfield Airport which will come up first. The second one is Western Koshi. Koshi is the river, if you know that. Sorrow of Bihar, that Koshi. So Western Koshi Canal project, ERM project will be developed in Bihar. That is what the government said. Additional 1 lakh housing units under Swami scheme. Swami as in you have become the owner of something. Swami scheme. So 15,000 crores for that particular thing. Government is giving you houses. They are developing 1 lakh more houses. And they are saying under Swami scheme we are doing it. 15,000 crores will be spent for that purpose. Jal Jeevan Mission that I told you. Jal Jeevan Mission will be talked a little more in the next pages to come. 2028 is the time. They have increased it. They have extended it till 2028. That's the mission, Jal Jeevan Mission. Jal Jeevan Mission, Har Ghar Jal. So it's like they are providing water and clean water in various ways, tap waters in various ways. So try to associate them with that only. So Jal Jeevan Mission extended till 28. Urea plant that I've talked a little, a while back. Urea plant in Namrup, Assam. But here I'm mentioning something else. That with the annual capacity of 12.7 lakh tons, metric tons. So that's going to be the capacity of this urea plant. So the capacity is also important. Urea plant, to be established in Namrup, Assam? One thing. Second, its capacity. They say that 12.7 lakh metric tons will be the capacity of this urea plant. That's going to be the annual capacity of Namrup, Assam urea plant. Let me make you revise all that. R&D budget 20,000 crores for the generation of small modular reactors. I am talking about nuclear energy. Center of Excellence in AI for Education 500 crores. A new greenfield airport and Western Koshi Canal project will be, will be developed in Bihar. Swami scheme, under that 15,000 crores will be spent, and I'm saying 1 lakh more units will be made for the poor people. Jal Jeevan Mission extended till 2028. Urea plant in Namrup, Assam with the capacity of 12.7 lakh metric tons annually. So that is what they say. And let's move on to the fourth engine of development, which is exports. Not much to read here. The important point is that FDI, foreign direct investment, people from outside the country, they invest in our country, FDI comes in. But in the insurance sector specifically, they are saying earlier the limit of people who live abroad or organizations which invest in our country in the insurance sector specifically, it used to be 74% maximum. Now they are saying you can invest any amount you feel like. 100% investment can be from FDI, can be through FDI, no problem at all. So 74% has been increased to 100%. FDI limit, sector is important, don't forget that. I'm saying FDI has been increased to 100% in the insurance sector. A bill to decriminalize over 100 provisions across various laws to enhance ease of doing business, Jan Vishwas Bill. So what is Jan Vishwas Bill? It is basically the second edition. You can see that Jan Vishwas Bill, second edition 2.0. Under this bill, ease of doing business should be promoted. That is what government says, right? Now, there are many provisions under which if you don't pay taxes or if you don't, work according to the laws, or maybe certain things that you're hiding or you're not doing it well, certain provisions are there under which you become a criminal. Your organization, your business, you come under the category of a criminal. These are criminal activities. Now they are saying 100 provisions are there, and here they are saying that we'll decriminalize all that. They have got a bill. So this bill is Jan Vishwas Bill. 100 provisions, across various laws. They have decriminalized it. So you are not going to be considered criminal if you actually make such sort of mistakes. To make things easier for you, they are doing it. So it is basically ease of doing business. Jan Vishwas Bill is like that. Maritime Development Fund. When we talk about maritime, we start talking about Navy, water. Yes. So Maritime Development Fund. Maritime Development Fund, Navy, water, sea. So Maritime Development Fund to be set up, and the money which government is, going to spend on that particular thing, it is going to be 25,000 crores. Now, there are certain things, scheme-wise allocation that you have to look at. For Manrega, it remained the same. Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme that you know. So I'm saying 86,000 crores is the money that they spent earlier as well. It is the same, but still you need to know that Manrega 86,000 crores is the allocation. 63.5 crores, 63,500 crores is the allocation for PM Kisan Yojana scheme. For Jal Jeevan Mission, which I've talked about, got extended till 28. 67,000 crores is the allocation for it. PM Awas Yojana, urban and rural both, 78,126 crores will be spent on that, right? All the amount is significant. Even though you find it boring, please understand that if you see 4 or 5 questions straight away in your exam, should you not read that? Even if you're getting bored, please watch that carefully, stay attentive, stay focused. I'll repeat. FDI limit in the insurance sector has been increased to 100%. Bill to decriminalize 100 provisions to promote ease of doing business under Jan Vishwas Bill. Maritime Development Project to be set up with 25,000 crores. Manrega 86,000 crores, PM Kisan 63,500 crores, Jal Jeevan Mission 67,000 crores, and for PM Awas Yojana 78,126 crore is the allocation or is the allocated money. Now there are certain ways through which you can look at things, how government earns and where government spends, like what all sources through which government is making money or earning. Consider it a chapati, consider it a roti that I told you at the start, and consider it 100%. 100%. So the major parts are being discussed here. Income tax is a major contributor. 22% government earns through that. It is the revenue coming page. Union excise duty 5%. Union excise duty 5%. Through GST, government earns and other taxes 18%. When you talk about corporate or corporation tax, 17%. Customs is 4%. Customs is 4%. 1% is non-capital receipts. 9% is non-tax receipts. Non-debt capital receipts, non-tax receipts, it's 9%. And borrowing and other liabilities, 24%. Please understand that there are certain things through which, there are certain places, there are certain sectors through which, certain areas through which government makes money. So here I'm talking about the rupee comes from, where the government receives the money from. So I've said that major contributor is income tax, you know that, but you have to understand all the percentages and you have to learn them because what happens is most of the times it remains the somewhat same, but it increases, it decreases. So you have to learn all the percentages carefully. If you join our Telegram channel, we give this sort of data there as well clearly. So you'll get, these questions there on our Telegram channel. In the description box, the link of the channel is there. At least the name is there. You can type that and you can join our Telegram channel. You'll gain many questions there. Where the money is spent. If government gives you subsidy, money spends money. Government spends money. Pensions. If pensions are provided, government obviously gives you money for that as well. So on pensions, 4% is spent. 4% on pensions. Other expenditure, the general one, is 9%. States share 20% in taxes and duties. When you go to a restaurant, you pay CGST and SGST. One is for the central government, one is for the state government. You know that central government receives the money, but they have to pay the states back their share of, taxes. So that is what it says. States share of taxes and duties is 20% that government has to provide to the states. It is obviously an expense for the government. Finance Commission and other transfers, 8%. Central sector schemes, 16% on which the government spends money. Defense, 8%. Defense subsidies, 6%. Defense is 8%. I'll rewrite that. And centrally sponsored schemes, 8% once again, and interest payments, because government, to cover its losses, they take loans from various sources, and if they take loans, they have to make interest payments. So interest payments is 20%. It is that high. So it is just a rough or a brief idea that you need to be aware of. Now, what is the size of the union budget in total? It was of total receipt other than borrowings. You have to exclude borrowings here. Total receipts, 34.96 lakh crore. So that's the, we are talking about union budget. The size, the expenditure, and the money where they are spending, everything. Like what is the allocation for the sectors also, like for railways, like for education, like for defense. We are going to, study all that in detail. I was saying total receipts other than borrowings is 34.96 lakh crores. Borrowings are excluded, only receipts are being, talked about. Expenditure, the money spent is in total, it is going to be 50.65 lakh crores. Capital expenditure, 11.21 lakh crores. 3.1% of GDP, that's important here. So capital expenditure is 3.1% of GDP either or. When you, end up numbering it, 11.21 lakh crore is the amount for this financial year. Capital expenditure is this. gross market borrowings. The money which government takes as a loan from the markets, that is what we are stating here, 14.82 lakh crores. Gross market borrowings, total borrowings of the government from the market, 14.82 lakh crores. Net tax receipts, like through taxes, how much they have earned, 28.37 lakh crores. Capital receipts, 16 lakh crores. I'll repeat once again. So I was saying that total receipts other than borrowings, 34.96 lakh crores. Total expenditure, 50.65 lakh crores. Capital expenditure, 11.21 lakh crore, 3.1% of GDP. That is what it means. Gross market borrowings, 14.82 lakh crores. Net tax receipts, 28.37 lakh crores. Here, capital receipts are 16 lakh crores. Let's look at it in a different way. The easier way, I must say. If you see this picture, probably you will not be able to read that. So I've written all the pointers here. Like for agriculture, it is 1.38 lakh crores. Right? For education, it is 1.28 lakh crore. That is what the government is allocating as the money for the sectors. For the defense, 6.81 lakh crore. For the defense, it is 6.81 lakh crore. If you exclude pensions out of this particular point, like in the defense, you know that defense personnel are there and those personnel receive, pension also. That pension should be should be separated from this. If I do that, what is the amount that got allocated to the defense? You have to learn both the numbers, like the total allocation for the defense, and when you exclude pensions, that also. So you are going to tell me in the comment section after checking it yourself that what was the allocation for the defense sector when you exclude pensions. Agriculture, 1.38 lakh crore. Railways, 2.55 lakh crore. Road transports and highways, 2.87 lakh crore. And education is 1.28 lakh crore. I hope I could make you understand something. If you couldn't get something, you can rewatch the video. And if you don't wish to rewatch the video, you can join our Telegram channel where we'll be providing these pointers too, and you'll be learning a lot through that as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and keep studying.